Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Cory here, and we're covering days 14 through 18 of the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge in this video. I know we're covering a lot, but I wanted to group a few together and get them out for you guys. So let's just dive into it with day 14. And day 14's prompt is: which tarot decks give you the most insight by way of the imagery and symbology of the cards rather than intuition or basic tarot knowledge? And that was submitted by Elizabeth Harkin. So, this one was a tough one for me. So I think that really because I'm such a Rider-Waite-Smith reader and I resonate a lot with those cards and what's happening in those cards, Rider-Waite clones are kind of my go-to. Now, my favorite ones, as far as really pulling messages from the imagery, from the scene and what's going on, I have a few. One of those decks is the Vivid Journey Tarot. Now, they're very simplistic. They're not over cumbersome with the images. As you can see here, they're very, light and airy. But I think that the image really gets to the heart of the message of the card, especially with the use of color. So this one I do resonate with quite a bit as far as the imagery and just kind of looking at it and going, this is what I see, and pulling from that imagery. Another one that I find very similar and actually even a little bit more effective is the Robin Wood Tarot. And that could be because one of my favorite books, and I've talked about it before, even in this challenge and not just other videos, is that this deck is the deck that was used for images in Anthony Lewis's Tarot Plain and Simple. So, and it's a book that I cherish and I've used a lot over the last decade. So I do resonate quite a bit with these images because I worked with them in a book setting. I don't know if that really makes sense for you guys, but there's a lot going on here with the images, but they're still simplistic enough that I don't feel like it's overwhelming. Like, for example, one deck that I really do need to sit with and really absorb and study is going to be the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Benebell Wen. It's so gorgeous and yummy, but there's so much packed into each card that sometimes I'm looking at an image and it's hard to, I have to take a moment and take it all in and see what piece I want to pull out first, So with these, I feel like my eye goes to everything and I'm like, yep, and I capture the essence all at once. Now, the deck that I probably draw the most from in terms of the image of the card and what's happening there when I do readings with that deck, it gives me the most. And that's probably why it's the deck that I've consistently worked with the longest on my tarot journey. In fact, this is my second copy of this deck because for the longest time it was the only deck I used and it got really beat up. And then the dog got to it and destroyed several cards. And I didn't have a choice then at that point. I was like, well, I was going to retire it anyway. So now I really have to get a new copy. And that is the Shadowscapes Tarot. Now, part of this is because I am just so in love with Stephanie's artwork. I've been following Stephanie since her DeviantArt days. She's just an amazing painter. I even have all of she did book covers for the Charmed Sphere and the sequels that came after that. I don't know if there's actually a name for the series, but the author is Catherine Acero. I'm sure I'm butchering her name. I apologize, Catherine. Really great fantasy series about shapes and magic, and just it's a bit romancy, but it's really cute, and fell in love with those books. And Stephanie actually did the cover art for each of the books in the series. And I just, when she started working on this tarot deck, I followed it all the way through to completion, and then had to get it when it was published. And there's just the emotion that comes out of the cards through these images. They're all breathtaking to me. They all resonate with me. I know there are some people that really just don't get what the hype is with this deck. But I've been following Stephanie's work for so long that I feel like this deck is a part of me. And it's been a large part of my tarot journey, specifically with how much I've worked with this deck. I just look at the image and I just immediately see what's going on, and I get these impressions and emotions and all the feels, if we want to get really cliche with it. This is probably the deck where the images on the cards give me the most to work with in a reading. I know everyone's going to have different decks. This one's mine. This one's mine. So that would be my top one, followed closely by Vivid Journey Tarot and the Robin Wood Tarot. And again, I kind of feel like this is a really hard question to answer, because being that I'm a tarot reader and a huge fan of art, I also draw. For those of you that don't know, I did start to go to school for art. My goal was to become an animator. Ended up dropping out of school after about 2 years because life. We'll just we'll leave it at that. It was important that I make money at that time rather than spend money on education. As sometimes happens with folks, it was my circumstance. It just, not to be really punny right now, but it wasn't in the cards for me. Mom joke. But those were my circumstances at the time. So here we are today. I do have a very successful career. I don't necessarily regret it. My life would have been very different had I followed through and gotten that degree and become an animator. And getting a degree in animation isn't as glamorous as it sounds. It's not like, you graduate and immediately you go off and work for Pixar or DreamWorks. You are in a foreign country, usually India or China, sometimes even Australia, drawing 100 to 200 feet a week of the exact same thing over and over and over again in someone else's style. And you're doing it for 6 months at a time, holed up in a hotel room. It's very isolating. It's, you know, it's not that glamorous. Most people don't know that the TV shows you see on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network are done in foreign countries, but that's the reality of that lifestyle. And I don't know, I know that I wouldn't be where I am doing what I'm doing today had I gone down that road, but I don't regret the time that I spent pursuing it. I kind of feel like every choice that I've made has led me up to this point. And so I don't consider any of it, even switching course, to be wasted time, if that makes sense. I feel like it's still added to where I am today. And I don't know that I would appreciate art as much as I do now if I hadn't fallen in love with that first comic book at age, 12. So here we are. And maybe one day I'll make my own tarot deck. Who knows? But imagery is really, really important to me when selecting a deck, which we're going to talk about in another one of the prompts. So let's move right into day 15. What is in your tarot go-to bag? Your tarot travel bag. And this question was submitted by Naya Thrice, who did the prompt for day 13. Now, my tarot bag is actually in a transition right now, so I haven't completely filled it up, but it's hanging on my chair here. So we'll pull it out for you guys to take a look. My original tarot travel bag was just a canvas bag. And it's this one is going to contain the same items that one did. I'm just kind of trading some things out, seeing how they fit, because a canvas bag, just a canvas tote, very different from a messenger style bag. Now, what you're seeing on here is a lot of tarot pins, a lot of spiritual pins, actually. So a lot of these were Kickstarter pins. These are Greek Pantheon pins, these very large ones here. We've got Hades over here, Medusa down here, and this is Persephone right here. They're kind of getting washed out by the camera right now. These two are tarot pins. This is the Death card and the High Priestess. This lovely guy right here is the Hermit, which was an accompanying pin with the Arcanist Tarot. Let's see. By David D. Pasquale. By the way, he has a new Kickstarter campaign, guys. It's for his Mega Tiger plushie. It is freaking adorable. You have to go check it out because, yeah. I backed one, and that's going to have to, he's going to be my new office buddy for sure. He's going to sit with me here while I do tarot readings. He looks so cute and squishy. And you know what? He's not a tarot deck, so I'm not at all concerned that I backed him for my depth here. No regrets. So he came with that. May the courts be with you. This was a cute little addition to me backing the Crystalline Oracle deck. But the pin itself came from the Spirit Den. This guy right here is also another tarot pin collab. And we've got the World here and King of Cups. And then these four gals right here. Oh my goodness, you guys. These, I don't even know where to start with these. So these are the queens, okay? We have the Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, and Queen of Swords. And these gals were specifically designed for women of color, by a woman of color, just to show representation. And I had to back them. I had to support her. She did an amazing job on these pins. You guys, look at how gorgeous they are. My camera is not doing them justice, but oh, they're stunning. I have to clean this gal because she's actually got copper edges and they're all tarnished. But I wore her a lot. So I have a lot of fire in my birth chart. And so I resonate quite a bit with the Queen of Wands. And yeah, I've kind of ruined her a little bit. So she does need some polishing. But yeah, I had to put them on here. They are just freaking stunning. And I had to back up. This was also a Kickstarter campaign edition with a Persephone comic book. Another little Kickstarter right here, just a standalone raven. We've got a magical cat, little happy magical Harry Potter elephant right here. And these two, the cat and the elephant, are actually from the same creator as these two up here. My 3L Tribe pin, another Kickstarter campaign, just a cute little corn snake. And then this came from Powell Books in Portland, Oregon. So these are kind of my show-off pins, which is partly why I got the messenger bag. I kind of needed something to that was sturdy, that would hold them all up. But what goes in here, as I was mentioning, is a notebook and pen, a tarot reading cloth. I haven't decided which cloth I want to include in here yet, or what other cloths. But right now I have the cloth from the Marigold Tarot. And then my travel decks, which are Morgan Greer in a tin and the Centennial Weight Smith in a tin. And that's just because these are smaller. And if I have to read on a smaller surface, not taking up too much room, and they're in tin cans. And I tend to bang these bags around a lot. What else will go in here? A travel pendulum when I decide which one's going to go in there. Some crystals as well to make sure that all of the tools in here are cleansed. Just need to pull them out. They're going to be carnelian or citrine, just FYI. Those two are amazing energetic cleansers. And then some other third eye crystals as well to kind of help fortify me. So either amethyst, what else would I probably put in there? Lapis. And then I also will have hematite or black tourmaline to help kind of protect my energy. When I do a reading, help me ground afterwards, break away. And then I usually, I'll put like snacks in here. Because one of the things that I like to do before and after sessions is have a cookie or something that just kind of grounds me and centers me. So, you know, when it comes to when we come up on Girl Scout cookie ordering time, there's legit probably going to be a box of cookies in my tarot travel bag. Don't judge. So, along with a bottle of water. I am realistic here, folks. So that is what I have in here. Oh, and I missed this gal right here from the Considerate Cat Tarot. So that is my tarot travel bag. It comes with me when I have to do readings on the go. I've not done like big corporate readings or fairs or anything, but I will do small parties. I will have to travel and have friends gather. Usually it's 4 to 6 gals and I'll read for them. So this definitely does come in handy. Now, day 16, what tarot card in the deck do you look out for the most when you get a new deck? And if you don't like that card, does it ruin the deck for you? Sometimes sometimes it ruins it. If I'm being perfectly honest, sometimes it ruins it. Now, the card that I really look for is the death card. And that's because, and I'm going to talk about this again, with prompt 18, the death card is a personal card for me. Persephone is my matron goddess, and she is the goddess of the underworld. And for me, death and grief and transformation and healing, these are recurring themes for me in this lifetime. So the death card's a very personal card. It's a card that if I don't feel connected to it, not that the card is done wrong or that I think the artist's interpretation wasn't correct, or, not to bash on the creators at all, but if I don't personally resonate with how that death card's depicted, it does ruin it a little bit for me. And I end up getting frustrated with the deck. So the death card has to, one, be kind of powerful. And I feel like it does kind of make a deck. If a deck's kind of ho-hum, but they have a really rad death card, I'll probably get the deck. Like, just being completely honest with you, throwing it out there, I'll probably still pick up the deck just because I like the death card. That's how weird I am about it. But there you go. Something quirky about me you didn't know. Day 17. What is your favorite way to tarot journal? Do you like using planners, apps, bullet journals? And that was a question submitted by Jen Sankey. So for me, for years and years, I've just used spiral notebooks. I write all of my, and that's for all divination, not just tarot, for pendulums as well. I write all of my readings in there, spread ideas, etc. I'll just put it, class notes, put it all down in just a regular old spiral notebook. Trade things out as I need to, cross out pages, rip out pages and put them in my 3-ring binder book of shadows. Spiral notebooks, you can't really go wrong. They're cheap, and I end up filling up so many that they're really the most economical for me. Now, this year I've decided to do something different. When I first created my pendulum course at the end of 2017, I got basically just a blank sketchbook and started building a pendulum book of shadows. And what I've done this year is I've started adding tarot to it. So I've started adding spreads, a couple personal readings I've added to here, ones that I really don't want to lose, like my 2019 personal year ahead reading I've added in here, tarot rituals that I have for myself. And so it's becoming a hodgepodge of a divination book of shadows as opposed to just like a pendulum or tarot journal. And it's really kind of solidifying for me my personal reading practice. So I have all of my ethics written down in here for what I will and won't read. Rituals, dedication rituals, cleansing techniques, etc. Like all of it starting to go in here as like an actual record. So that's been kind of exciting as I start to fill up pages with that. But for the most part, I'm still a fan of the spiral notebook. I probably always will be. That's my ride or die. If I have to jot something down, I have an entire shelf of spiral notebooks. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And I have at least 2 on the floor over here. So probably never going to kick that habit. 18. Okay, this is our last one, guys. What cards relate to you personally? Not just your astrology association or court cards. And that was submitted by Lizzie Bolton. You already know about the death card. Just talked about that. And again, my association with that is really my magical practice. I don't just use tarot for divination. I use tarot in ritual. I use tarot in my meditation practice. I use tarot as tools for manifestation, visualization. There's so much that you can use it for. It is such a versatile tool that the cards start to take on an even deeper meaning for me beyond what they can tell me, fortune-wise. So the death card is a very deeply personally connected card for me because of who my matron is, because my power animal is associated with rebirth and death. It's the Viper. For a number of reasons. It's always going to have a special place in my heart. Now, in addition to that, though, I feel like I resonate a lot with the Empress, and I kind of did talk about that a little bit in my astrological association response. But like I said, that really lends more, not just on the Virgo side, but as a mom and a surrogate, fertility and abundance, and even with my career and how lucky I've been, and my patron god, Freyr, who's a fertility deity in the Norse pantheon, that's my other half. I feel like in this lifetime I've walked towed the line between creation and destruction, life and death. And I've been able to strike that balance really well. I have a goddess of the underworld and a fertility god as my matron and patron, and they work very harmoniously together. So, I consider myself in my magical practice to be a gatekeeper. There were times in the beginning of my life where I had the burden of and honor and privilege of being there to usher a soul as they were crossing the veil into Persephone's realm. And I've been, again, lucky and sometimes in a burdensome position of, really privileged, though, of being the gatekeeper to usher souls earth side as well out of her realm. This is the 5th child that I've carried earth side. I, was there to hold my mom's hand when she passed. And she's not the only one that I've been with and buried, especially within my own family, where I joke around with my husband that the Wilders we're a dying breed. But I do say that with all love and humor because we're a hearty bunch. And the lives that those that have passed on from my family have lived have been really full and joyous ones, though in my personal opinion, they hadn't been nearly as long enough. It is an absolute honor to be a part of my family. I love each and every one of my family members with every fiber of my being. I am a very lucky duck to have had the parents that I have, the grandparents that I have. I've lost, cousins and uncles as well, and aunts. So my parents are gone. All of my grandparents are gone. As I mentioned, a few cousins, aunts, and uncles. And each one of them, the brief amount of time that I did get to spend with them was absolutely full of love and joy and a shit ton of laughter. And I wouldn't trade those moments for anything in the world. Absolutely anything. So while it's been frustrating and incredibly hard and heartbreaking to have death be a part of my life in that way, I feel, I don't know, I do feel really honored that this was the family that I was born into. Like, I don't regret that in any way, shape, or form. So it's not been easy, but everybody has their own path to run. This was mine. Like I said, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me in any way, though. And I don't want anybody to feel sorry for any of my family members who have crossed over, because I follow the Celtic belief system. The astral planes, the here and after is an extension of this realm, and they're off living their best afterlives. Trust me. They are. And, whatever burdens that they carried in this world, in that, their past lifetime here with me, have been shed. And they're rocking and rolling in whatever they needed to do next. And, I hold them, my brother and my sister hold them, their energy in our hearts. And yeah, it wasn't my intention for the answer to that prompt to take that turn. Sorry, guys. I know you expect a lot more upbeat and happy videos on this channel. I got real there for a minute. But that's why the Empress and the Death card means so much to me in the tarot. Because both have played such huge roles in my life. And, I take the bad in equal amounts with the good, and I still see it as a gift, because I feel like it really is. The lessons that come with it, while you hate going through them and you curse and you scream and you get pissed off, at the end of the day, they're important. And ain't nobody getting out of this life alive. So it's taught me to enjoy the time that I have and make the most of it and do what it is that I love to do. And one of those things is sitting here and making videos for you all. So I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. And if you don't like watching my videos, please don't sit here and waste your time watching them. Because I wouldn't sit here and waste my time watching any YouTube videos that didn't fill me up. Okay? I'm not going to lose any sleep over you not watching mine. Trust me. But if you do enjoy them, yay! And I am so glad you are here. Okay? So we'll just end it on that note. because it's starting to get late and I'm starting to get a little loopy. Y'all know how I am when I, tape late at night. What are your guys's, how are you guys doing on this challenge? How are you all doing? Are you guys, following along? I've been trying to catch up on videos, to folks that I'm subscribed to. If I'm not subscribed to your channel, like if I haven't been commenting on videos that you've been making on this challenge, please leave a link to your channel below or say, hey, I'm doing the challenge too. Go through my profile so that I can subscribe to you and get caught up on your videos, because I love, the best thing about this challenge and what I love the most is hearing what you guys think and watching your videos. Like, that's one of my main reasons for doing this challenge. So if I haven't been caught up on your stuff, let me know that you're out there so that I can subscribe, okay? And if you're not subscribed to me, the heck are you waiting for? You know you want to. Or at least if you've made it this far, I hope that you do subscribe, because we do have a few more videos left. This was only through prompt 18. And it's 31 days to tarot challenge, folks. So if you hit that subscribe button, you'll be notified as soon as the next videos come out. I do really hope that you guys enjoyed this one, even with the very serious turn that we took there with prompt 18. But again, let me know if you're participating in the challenge, or just let me know your thoughts below in the comments, okay? I hope to catch you in the next video. And until then, lovelies, blessed be.